Oh, hey, Rodney. Man, I'm glad you stopped by. Listen, I had this recipe idea. How would you feel about taking your number 2 favorite food and coating it around your number 1 favorite food? No, Rodney, not candy corn covered anchovies. What's wrong with you? Seriously, what's wrong with you? No, I'm thinking about taking some cube steak, right? Cutting it into little fingers and then coating it with ground up pork rinds and putting it in the air fryer. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Y'all stick around. I'm going to show you how.
For this recipe, you're going to need arrowroot powder, some eggs, some Bad Byron's butt rub, some really nice cube steaks, and 2 or 3 bags of pork rinds. Get the cheapest you can, as long as it doesn't have a bunch of artificial this, that, and the other. The second part of this recipe is going to be a buffalo air fryer fried cauliflower. So to that list of ingredients, I'm going to add sriracha sauce and fresh cauliflower. Oh, you're also going to need a scrubby sponge.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Eating Good in the Woods, channel that shows you just because you're camping doesn't mean you got to eat like a hobo. Today's recipe is going to be a twist on an old classic and a favorite, chicken fried steak fingers. So what we're going to do is take a lovely bit of cube steak and we're going to coat it in pork rinds and cook it in the air fryer. This will be a wonderful thing to have campsite because it'll reheat easily. They're finger food, so you're not dirtying up a whole bunch of stuff. And Mrs. Eating Good in the Woods was kind enough to make this lovely Whole30 sausage gravy for dipping. Whew, gonna be hardly fit to eat. Anyway, listen, before we go any further, how about you do this old man a big favor and mash that subscribe button, click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment or two, maybe even share me to your social media. It sure would warm this old man's heart. Okay, on to the recipe. Well, we're going to start with this lovely bit of cube steak that I was telling you about. We're going to cut it into finger-sized bits. So this right here, take this piece for instance, we're going to do that by thirds. So we'll have a nice piece of cube steak about that size. Nice size for dipping. So here they are all sliced up. Now you don't want to leave them unseasoned, obviously. So you know what I'm going to add? That's right. Some Bad Byron's butt rub. There's a link in the description on how you can get some of this stuff. Wonderful stuff. So let's give it a healthy dose. A nice sprinkling of Bad Byron's. No need to do both sides. One side's fine because we're going to add some of this to our arrowroot flour as well. Also want to mention, try to make these as uniform size as possible because when you put them in the air fryer, if they're all different sizes and whatnot, they'll cook at different rates, and you don't want that. So now they're all seasoned, cut up. We're going to stick them aside to let them just kind of sit and rest for a little bit. I'm going to go get the food processor and do up the pork rinds. Let's take about, 3 bags ought to do it, because remember, I'm doing 2 recipes of this. You're only going to want to crush it so much. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with something that resembles butter, and you don't want that. Hey y'all, I have opened a Teespring shop. This is a way for you guys to help support my channel and get some cool stuff in the meantime. Click on the link down in the description there. I've got things like coffee mugs, stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, that sort of thing. Give it a look. I sure would appreciate it.
And this is about what you want your grinds to look like.
So now we're going to move on to phase 2 of this. And I want to start out by saying I cannot stress enough the importance of making sure this is nice and oiled. Okay, so I have set up 3 bowls. One with some arrowroot powder and some Bad Byron's butt rub for seasoning. I've got one bowl with 4 eggs scrambled, and then I've got another bowl here with your ground up pork rinds. I'm going to start by dipping in the steak, dredging it across this flour, shake off the excess, put it in the egg, make sure it gets good and coated, shake off the excess. Then, with your dry hand, coat them with your ground up pork rinds. And that's what it should look like. We'll put it in the fryer basket. Get them in there as tight as you can because you want as many in them as you can, but still allow for airflow in your air fryer. So here's what your fryer basket should look like. I got about 6 or 7 in there. We're going to put it in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Dad, Jim, and I almost forgot. Make sure you spray the tops of them too if you want a nice crunchy golden brown top on these things. Well, them are done. They smell wonderful. I've cut one up here. Take a look at that. We're going to give it a little taste. That right there is hardly fit to eat, I'm here to tell you, but I'm going to keep going until I find a good spot. Good golly, those things are wonderful. All right, let's move on to the cauliflower. Okay, so all the steak fingers are done. We're moving on to the cauliflower. I have prepared a whole head of cauliflower. I'm going to put it in this bowl here. And I've also taken the egg mixture and I've added some more Bad Byron's butt rub to it, as well as like about a tablespoon of sriracha sauce to give it a little spice. What we're going to do is coat the cauliflower in the egg mixture, and then we're going to go do the old shake and bake. That's the remainder of the pork rinds. Now we put our coated cauliflower in with our pork rind crumbles. Going to give it a good shake. And I've already greased the air fryer basket. So it's ready to fly too. We're going to give this a good shake, and we're just going to dump the whole thing into the air fryer. And then this is going into the air fryer at 390 degrees for 10 minutes. Well, 8 minutes. We'll check it after 8 minutes, giving it a good shake after about 4. So here I got one fresh out of the air fryer, going to give it a whirl. You know, I've never up to this point been able to say that was an eating good in the woods fail. And this is no exception. My God, people, this was hardly fit to eat. And I'm going to keep going that pot full of them until I'm done with it and I found a good spot. Woo! Good golly, that's wonderful. Okay, so I'm having the cauliflower and the fried steak fingers, along with this wonderful sausage gravy that Mrs. Eatin' Good in the Woods made. Hey, you know, I tell you what, if I get 10 likes, I'll make a video on how to make the Whole30 keto, all that sausage gravy. Might even be able to talk Mrs. Eatin' Good in the Woods to showing up. That's going to be it for this week. I'd like to remind you guys, keep going till you find a good spot. I love you. Y'all go out there and be nice to each other. God bless. See you next week.